Bids and Awards Committee meeting. Today is August 31, 2023. And for our attendance today, kindly acknowledge once your name is called. For our presiding officer, Attorney Roberto Martin Buenaventura, sir, good morning.
Present.
Engineer Ronaldo Lumibaw.
Yeah, present.
Morning, sir. Miss
Morning.
Amnives Gabriel. Mambani. I can see
Yes,
her
good
online.
morning.
Good morning po,
Good morning.
Mambani. We also have provisional members from MISD, Ms. Cheryl Walikan,
Good morning
from
po.
ANS, ADMS, and HRMD. Also in attendance today, Mr. Chair, are the members of the Technical Working Group, BAC Secretariat, and we sent letters to our observers from COA Resident Auditors, PCCI, NGO EBJFI, PICE, Internal Audit Service, and PCAI. Four of the seven members, Mr. Chair, are present today in our online meeting. We do have a quorum, sir.
All right, thank you, Attorney Frank. Considering we have a quorum, let's proceed with the agenda items, please. We'll start with the pre-bid conference, tama?
Yes, Mr. Chair.
Sige.
This is a pre-bid conference, sir, for the project supply, delivery, and installation and commissioning of safety oversight management system for the Civil Aviation Authority of the Philippines, including the hardware and software components, bid number 23-028-08, amounting to 250 million pesos, an MISD project. And this will be presented the MISD, and we have five bidders, Mr. Chair, who inquired for this project, and these are AG Datacom Philippines Incorporated, HTech Corporation, MPIC, Cosmotech, We Are IT Philippines, and Hitachi Asia Limited. Requesting, Mr. Chair, permission to admit the bidders online.
Please proceed.
Secretariat, please kindly admit bidders in our meeting room. Good morning to our prospective bidders. Welcome to the pre-bid conference. This is for the project supply, delivery, installation, commissioning of safety oversight management system at CAAP, including hardware and software components. Uh, for purposes of, for records purposes, kindly type your name and the company you represent in our chat box, please. And the MISD will present the project. MISD, please.
Teka sir, napoproblema lang ako sa pag-share. Saglit lang sir ha. Naka-share na po ba? Yan.
Yes, ma'am. We're seeing your screen na po.
Yung
Back, indicated,
ito pa sir. Yan.
yes po, the title
Thank you po,
slide.
sir. Okay. Can we start now the pre-bid for the supply, delivery, installation, commissioning of the safety oversight management system for the Civil Aviation Authority of the Philippines, including the hardware and software component. This is bid number 23-02808. As a background, the approved budget for this project is 250 million pesos. For the delivery of goods, it is expected for a 540 calendar days from the issuance of the notice to proceed. The bidding will be conducted through open competitive bidding. For the bid data sheets for ITB Clause 5.3, pursuant to Section 23.4.1.3 of the IRR of the 9184, bidder shall have the SLCC that is at least one contract similar to the project, amount of which shall be equivalent to at least 50% of the ABC. For this purpose, contracts to the project refers to contracts which have the same major categories of the delivery, supply, installation, and commissioning of safety oversight management system for aviation authorities. It must be completed within 5 years prior to the deadline for the submission and receipt of bids. For ITB Clause 10.1, for the legal documents, we require the valid field jobs registration certificate for platinum membership, all pages. Or you can submit the registration certificate from SEC, DTI for sole proprietorship, CDA for cooperatives, or its equivalent document. Mayors or business permit issued by the city or municipality where the principal place of business of the prospective bidder is located, or the equivalent document to exclusive economic zone or areas. Number four is the tax clearance, as finally reviewed and approved by the BIR. For the legal documents in connection to GPPB Circular 0727, the bidder could have the following submissions. For the technical documents, we require the statement of the prospective bidders of all its ongoing government and private contracts, including contracts awarded but not yet started. If any, whether similar or not similar in nature and complexity to the contract, this could be found as Annex A, Form 1 of the bid document. The statement of the bidder's SLCC to the contract to be bid, except under conditions provided under the rules. This is Annex A, Form 2 of the bid doc. Original copy of bid security in the form of surety bond. Submit also a certification issued by the Insurance Commission or original copy of notarized bid security declaration. This is Annex B, Form 1. The schedule of requirements, Annex B, Form 2, and conformity with the technical specification found in Annex B, Form 3, which may include production and delivery schedule, manpower requirements, or the sales and parts if applicable. And the original duly signed omnibus sworn statement found in Annex B, Form 4, original notarized secretary certificate in case of a corporation, partnership, or cooperative, or the original special power of attorney of all members of the joint venture, giving full power and authority to its officer to sign the OSS and do act to represent the bidder. These shall include all the following documents as attached to the Omnibus Sworn Statement. Number one, we need the certification under oath attesting that they have no pending cases against the government, in addition to the eligibility requirement as prescribed under the uh, revised IRR of the RA 9184. We also need the legal clearance to be issued by the CAAP Enforcement and Legal Service with respect to the non-pending cases of the prospective bidders against this authority, and uh, the bid bulletins if applicable. For the financial documents, the prospective bidder's audited financial statement showing, among others, the prospective bidder's total and current assets, liabilities, stamped received by the BIR or its duly accredited and authorized institution for the preceding calendar year, which should not be earlier than 2 years from the date of bid submission. Also, the prospective bidder's computation of its net financial contracting capacity or the NFCC. For the Class B documents, if applicable, duly signed joint venture agreement in accordance with RA 4566 or duly notarized statement from all the potential joint venture partners stating that they will enter into and abide by the provisions of the JVA in the instant that the bid is successful. May we remind all the bidders that all the applicable CAAP box standard forms are included in this bid doc shall be completed in accordance with the prescribed forms under Section 8, the bidding forms Annex A and P. Modifications and or alterations on the stated requirements in the financial document forms shall not be allowed. Bids not complying with the above instruction shall be disqualified. For ITB Clause 11.1, the second bid envelope shall contain the financial documents for the bid specified in the checklist of technical financial document, Section 9 of the bid docs. This shall include the complete accomplishment of all the following documents and shall form part of the bidder's financial document. One is the original duly signed and accomplished financial bid form. Number two is the original of duly signed accomplished price schedule. Again, modification and alteration of the stated requirements in the financial document form shall not be allowed. Bids not complying with the above instructions shall be disqualified. For clause 14.1 of the ITB, the bid security shall be in form of a bid security declaration or any of the following forms. The amount of not less than 5 million or 2% of the ABC if bid security is in cash, cashier's manager's check, bank draft, guarantees, or irrevocable letter of credit. And also, it could be the amount of not less than 12,500,000, 5% of the ABC if bid security is in surety bond. For clause 15, each and every page thereof shall be initialed, signed by the duly authorized representative of the bidder. Submitted eligibility for the technical and financial documents shall be properly marked and indexed with index tabs and must be sequentially paginated in accurate order such that it could be page 3 of 100. Page number of last page of the document. This would be per envelope basis. Pagination should be sequential based on the entire span of the whole document inside the envelope. Bids not complying with the above instructions shall be automatically disqualified. Each bidder shall submit one copy of the first and second component of its bid. For clause 19.1, the bidder must render its statement of compliance or conformity with the bid documents as enumerated and specified in section 7, the technical specification. It is found in Annex B, Form 2 of the bid docs. Bids not complying with the above instruction shall be disqualified. 19.2. Partial bid is not allowed. The project is packaged in a single lot. The lot shall not be divided into sublots for the purpose of bidding, evaluation, and contract award. For 19.5, the NFCC computation or a committed line of credit from a universal or commercial bank. For 20.2, the bidder with the lowest calculated bid that complies with and is responsive to all requirements and conditions shall submit number one, the latest income and business tax report filed from electronic filing and payment system. Business licenses, permits required by law, such as the registration certificate, mayor's permit, and tax clearance. Also, the latest audited financial statements. Failure to submit any of the post-qualification requirements on time or a finding against the veracity thereof shall disqualify the bidder for award, provided that in the event that the finding against the veracity of any of the documents submitted is made, it shall cause the forfeitures of the bid security in accordance with Section 69 of the IRR of 9184. For Clause 21.2, the attached terms of reference or the technical specification for this project, the supply, delivery, installation, and commissioning of the safety oversight management system for the Civil Aviation Authority of the Philippines, including the hardware and software components, shall be an integral and inseparable part of the contract. Again, we would like to remind all the bidders that all the applicable CAAP standard forms included in this bid document shall be complied in accordance with the prescribed forms under Section 8, Annex A and B. Modifications and alterations on the stated requirements in the financial document form shall not be allowed. Bids not complying with the above instructions shall be disqualified. For the special conditions of the contract, for the delivery and documents, the delivery terms applicable to this contract are delivered at CAAP main office. Risk and title will pass from supplier to the procuring entity, which is CAAP, upon receipt and final acceptance of goods at their final destination. So the delivery of goods shall be made by the supplier in accordance with the terms specified in the schedule of requirements. For purpose of this clause, the procuring entity's representative at the project site is the Management Information System Division, or the MIS. For the incidental services, the supplier is required to provide all of the following services, including additional services if there is any specified in the schedule of requirements. Number one, you are required to provide the performance or supervision of on-site assembly, startup of the supplied goods, furnishing of tools required for assembly or maintenance of the supplied goods, furnishing of a detailed operations and maintenance manual for each appropriate unit of the supplied goods, performance or supervision or maintenance and of repair of the supplied goods for a period of time agreed by the parties, provided that the service shall not relieve the supplier of any warranty obligations under this contract. Trainings of the procuring entity's personnel at the supplier's plant or on-site in assembly, startup, operation, maintenance, or any other repair of the supplied goods. Additional requirements to be provided under the contract shall include those specified in the terms of reference. The contract price for the goods shall include the prices charged by the supplier for incidental services and shall not exceed the prevailing rates charged to other parties by the supplier for similar services. For the terms of payment, the project shall be paid on the schedules indicated which shall not exceed the ceiling specified. Progressive payments based on a milestone upon acceptance by the procuring entity of the deliverables. The final payment shall be made only and after the final report and the final statement, identified as such, shall have been submitted and approved as satisfactory by the procuring entity. So this is the matrix for the terms of reference for the project or the milestones, deliverables, and the payment schedule. We have one, two, three, four milestones. For the inspections and tests, the inspections and tests that will be conducted shall include, but not limited to, physical inspection and inventory, or whatever additional tests that the technical inspection team may require. For the schedule of requirement, the delivery schedule expressed as weekly months stipulates hereafter a delivery date, which is the date of delivery to the project site. So the customization of the SOMs or the application, cloud services, the tablets and other IT equipment specified in Section 7 of the Terms of Reference, revisions of technical guidance materials affected by the new system, training for the application administration, train the trainer and the end users, also the warranty and support agreement certificate. These would be expected for the delivery for 540 calendar days upon receipt of the notice to proceed. For the terms of reference for these bid docs, it is referred in section 7, pages 34 to 100. For the statement of compliance, bidders must state here either comply or not comply against each of the individual parameters of each specifications, stating the corresponding performance parameters of the equipment offered. Statements of comply or not comply must be supported by evidence in a bidder's bid and cross-reference to that evidence. Please take note. Evidence shall be in the form of manufacturers' unamended sales literature, unconditional statements of specification, compliance issued by the manufacturer, samples, independent test data, if appropriate. A statement that is not supported by evidence is subsequently found to be contradicted by the evidence presented will render the bid under evaluation liable for rejection. Statements, either in the bidder's statement of compliance or the supporting evidence that is found to be false, either during bid evaluation, post-qualification, or the execution of the contract, may be regarded as fraudulent and render the bidder or supplier liable for the prosecution subject to the applicable laws and issuances. So for an introduction, uh, CAAP is looking for a commercial off-the-shelf solution. It's a software designed for aviation regulators in managing safety and security oversight, the day-to-day task of the authority, and responses efficiently and effectively with CAAP stakeholders. SOM should create a standardized risk-based, data-supported oversight system across Flight Standards Inspectorate Service, and the Aerodrome and Air Navigation Safety Oversight Office, and other CAAP offices engaged in aviation operations. SOMS shall serve as CAAP's oversight tool to certification, surveillance, and continued operational safety. Some shall include the policy, processes, and associated software that FSIS, ANSO, and other CAAP offices shall use to capture data in conducting its oversight function. SOMS is not a separate safety standard and does not impose additional requirement on certificate holders. The SOM shall help accomplish the following objective. It shall standardize the work being accomplished, improve efficiency and collaboration between CAAP and its stakeholders, help CAAP aviation safety inspectors determine risk-based data-supported oversight decision, provide a standardized system that will determine compliance with regulations, and assist in reducing aviation risk and by increasing safety oversight. The SOM shall provide professional support to the oversight function of CAAP to effectively record the day-to-day execution of its regulatory function, which shall not be limited to the following. It will show the qualification of personnel, certification and licensing, the surveillance, and the resolution of safety concern. SOM shall continue to evolve, improve, introduce additional enhancements to meet the ever-evolving needs of the authority. For the commercial aspect of the project, the winning bidder is required to the supplier should have the capacity of developing the required software and provide services needed during the transition, continued use of the capability of modification depending on the operational need of the authority. The supplier should have an available standard software module that is configurable and with complete software licenses. The supplier should be able to provide a detailed description of the following. For the project implementation, they should have a transition plan, migration of data from the existing database to the new system. For the project organization, they must show the project phases, project plan, system of reporting, change request handling, test for live system, extent of involvement of supplier, and the customer service response. The supplier should be able to provide an organizational chart with a detailed qualification of its personnel involved in the project, which should have a technical background on developing an aviation safety oversight management system software. Subject matter experts shall have at least 4 years experience in developing an aviation-related software used by regulator in its safety oversight function. The, the project should be fully implemented within 18 months from the issuance of notice to proceed. There should be minimal to no interruption to the system used by the authority during the transition period in the implementation of the project. Provide the platform. The supplier should provide the platform where senior management may have visibility of emerging safety risks necessary for the authority to control and develop a strategy to mitigate them. They should be able to develop a user-friendly application and allows user to adapt with minimal training, and also be able to develop a system that is efficient in managing audits and compliances. The winning bidder should provide after sales maintenance service of 3 years. The maintenance service shall include updates in accordance with the IKR requirements, system enhancement, new features, big fixes, and support for the error handling. They should have a previous experience in developing a safety oversight management software for at least two civil aviation authorities with proof of satisfactory performance. They should be able to develop a versatile and user-friendly software in order to cater the management of day-to-day tasks of the authority in complying with the International Civil Aviation Organization standards and recommended practices, or what we call ICAO-SARPs, the national regulations, and other regulatory compliances. They should be able to develop a reporting and analysis tool and provide the comprehensive view of the safety and security risks from the data gathered in the system. They should be able to provide on-site product support to address trainings, technical issues on in the use of the system. The winning bidder must complete the revision of existing technical materials that will be affected by the change of system. Tasks will include but not limited to technical writing, consulting services regarding the new system. The system should be capable of issuing digital certificates with authenticity features. It could be example for a QR codes. The system should be able to replace the present certification and verification of documents or minimize the use of paper to lessen our carbon footprint in line with our mission to have a green Philippine sky. The system should be able to show the status of each applicant at each office, including the significant remarks made to minimize delays and persistent follow-ups from the applicant's end. The system should be capable of sending requests for verification and certification to other civil aviation authorities. The system shall be capable of delegating tasks to other personnel and synchronize calendars across workstations in our organization for an efficient work contribution and monitoring. Also, the system should be capable with any mobile devices capable of offline accessibility to accomplish inspection checklists and save collected evidences. All tasks accomplished offline should be automatically be saved and synchronized with the system once online. The system should be capable of endorsing a completed task following the workflow, be able to create dashboards such as tables, graphs, charts if needed, be able to continuously be innovated and be improved in order to efficiently and effectively meet the operational needs of the authority in the conduct of its safety oversight activities. The system should be capable of producing data, statistics in relation to the different transactions, activities, and information obtained during the use of the system for continued improvement of the authority's operation. The system should be equipped with an online payment portal or capable of being linked with the existing online payment portal. For the commercial aspect, also the supplier should be capable to cater the operational needs of the different departments of the FSIS and ANSO in order to comply with the ICAO SARPs. Thus, the developed system should be a fully functioning modular system that is capable of supporting an individual office, service, and address the safety oversight function of the authority to be able to cope up with the future compliances. The system shall be completely configurable to meet the exact needs of each CAAP offices and its stakeholders, measurably in terms of modules, features, and aesthetics. The system shall be capable of migrating the existing database of the different offices to the new system for the qualifications and trainings of the employees, specifically the technical personnel. The supplier should be able to develop the following portals. CAAP is requiring two portals, one for the client application portal. This shall be able to develop a stakeholder portal to give clients ease in doing business with the authority. The stakeholder should be able to manage appointments, receive notification in their transactions, and track its progress, which can aid in lessening the administrative load of the authority. And number two, we need an employee application portal. The supplier should be able to develop a platform that can be used by CAAP employees offline to perform their functions, such as but not limited to audit, inspection, investigations, and research. These should include a read and review feature that allow the responsible personnel to read and review individual pages that are awaiting approvals and act on it. For the software provider shall ensure a project plan that includes the incorporation of the existing and subsequent ICAO and other regulatory, it could be a national or international compliances in the development of the system. Configurable standard software for aviation regulators in performance of its oversight function and in the management of daily tasks. The supplier shall ensure that all data are secured by ensuring that the system is incorporated with layers of protection to manage data security and protection. All data should be synchronized to a single database, which can be accessed only by the assigned system administrator. And the supplier should be capable to develop a system that will generate alerts on any unusual trends in the data that may affect aviation safety and security risks based on the data across the whole industry, insights in how the authority is performing, as well as generate reports and statistics. The software shall have the capacity to identify new entries and revision. The system should be able to generate statistics, data reports, and shall have the capacity to an online or offline availability of audit inspections. The system should be able to store and secure necessary data, files, documents used by the different departments of FSIS and ANSO in performance of its oversight function. The system shall have a detailed tracking of users' activity in its historical record and an option to show the entries and changes made by the previous user. The system shall have a GUI with Windows look and feel. The system should have a typical window element that is user-friendly. The supplier should be able to develop a system that will enable the personnel to communicate and collaborate more efficiently. Set up custom workflows and standardized processes across all the offices that everyone knows what to do and how and when to do it. The system should be able to securely store examination sheets and have the capability of an online check-in and computation of scores of such examinations. The bid documents also provides requirements for its mobile availability, the central contracts and address database, permission management system, integrated reporting tool, the alerts, securities, confidentiality, and non-disclosures, and the ownership of the system. The slide shows the involved departments for the flight standards, inspectorate services, and aerodrome and air navigation safety oversight offices. They have provided the required outputs for the software. For the software components, the services, the necessary services for the project, such as the project management, quality management, customization for adaptations, the trainings and workshops for IT and end users. Also, the description should have the training to be conducted on site. They must provide training materials and submit training course outline subject to for approval of the CAAP, and they should conduct users meetings. The software maintenance agreement of 3 years. The support must be available 24/7, not more than 4 hours response time from the time of reporting via email, call, SMS, and chat with 24/7 alert and notification system. The support and the hotline for second level for the advanced users. Now, we come to the hardware component of the project. We require cloud hosting, the general requirements, or we call it the managed services, to maintain a resilient, efficient, and secure cloud services. The facility must be at least tier 3 local. I repeat, local cloud hosting facility, concurrently maintainable facility with multiple source, redundancy for power and cooling, does not require a total shutdown during maintenance or equipment replacement, must also have N+1 availability. It should be able to support all capacity load plus additional components as failover in primary failure scenario. Backup solution that can keep operations running in case of a local or region-wide power outage. The facility must ensure equipment can continue to operate for at least 72 hours following an outage, maximum allowable downtime per year of 1.6 hours only. It also includes 200 units of 11-inch Android tablets, 100 units of mini PC, 4 units of laptops, 10 units of pen tab, and 10 units of webcam. The configuration and implementation of Microsoft Active Directory services for SOMS end users, meaning to this would secure the SOMS network and application system. Microsoft Active Directory, the domain controller, must be implemented to 100 devices identified as SOM end user. So we require a Microsoft Professional Operating Systems to those mini PCs for the desktop, laptop, including deliverables of this project. For the warranty and support for the hardware component, the delivered devices should have 3 years warranty and support for parts, periodic maintenance check, and services. 4 hours response time from time of reporting for chat, SMS, call, and email support. 8 hours response time from time of reporting for an on-prem support. For the managed cloud services, there will have a 3-year managed cloud service but not limited to monitors the network infrastructure to identify and address issues potentially affected by the service. Implement and manages planned and unplanned changes in configuration and related network components. Monitors and documents service usage for capacity, planning, and projection. Maintain service levels needed for efficient operations, ensure only authorized activity and authenticated devices and users can access the network, threat management, intrusion detection, firewall management, and storage management, collects and analyzes relevant network information to detect and block malicious or suspicious activity and for further capacity planning. For training, we require comprehensive training for the administration and end user trainings of software application, also the administration and security for network administration. The bid forms for Section 8 are listed in the slide. The checklist and technical and financial documents could be found in Section 9 of the bid document. For further information, please refer to Engineer Gary Jadi, the head of BAC Secretariat. The telephone number of BAC is listed, the email, and the CAAP website, caap.gov.ph. Thank you po. Sir,
Mr. Chair, at this juncture, sir, the end user as well as the technical working group are now ready to entertain questions or clarifications from our prospective bidders. But before that, Mr. Chair, we'd like to remind that this presentation was based on the bid documents, which is available at PhilJEP's and CAAP website. And that's all, Mr. Chair, and we are now ready to entertain questions, sir. Any questions from our prospective bidders? Do you have questions from our prospective bidders? Mr. Chair, online we have prospective bidders online are from Cosmotech, We Are IT, MPIC, and AG Datacom. So we're seeing Mr. Chair, MPIC. I think Mr. Cotton Brink, his mic is on.
So, good morning. Do you hear me?
Yes, Mr. Cotton Brink, we can now hear you. What's your question or
Um,
clarification, please?
so, I have a few issues, which means is the project budget with 250 million final? Because that looks a bit, well, let's say tight. Then, as well, the implementation time of 1.5 years. For the complete SOMs, including all the configurations needed, and some of the areas are not really precisely defined, because in some areas, so like page 53, the aviation records management division is mentioned with the system existing, and to transfer the data, but yeah, we don't have any information or further information given concerning the existing data and how to transfer into the new SOM system. And as well, the deadline for giving the answers to the TOR or to the whole tender, mid of September, I think is quite short, because if it's my right interpretation, there is no subcontracting allowed, and for various tasks, all the involved parties have to go into a JV, and that needs a lot of formalities till the deadline. So is
Thank
there a chance, that means the question is there a chance as well to extend the deadline for submission of the bids?
Thank you, Mr. Cottonbrink. May we request our end user to respond to the questions or clarifications of Mr. Cottonbrink from MPIC?
Frank, can I share?
Yes, go ahead, Attorney Irish.
Sir, if I may respond to that, for the Aviation Records Management Division, we will add here the existing system that we have. As for the date of implementation, we will discuss that with MISD, since during our last meeting, that was the deadline that the target deadline that we were projecting. But may we request our representative from MPIC, sir, if you may send us a letter, sir, so that we could better decide on the target deadline, or if we could change it.
Okay.
Also, just to add, should there be any changes to the bid documents, bid bulletin will be issued to affect the changes. So, any other questions? I think we also have from We Are IT, yeah, Miss Ronalisa. Ma'am. Ma'am, we cannot hear you po. Representative from WRIT. Any other questions or clarifications from our prospective bidders?
Attorney Frank, may I ask our representative from MPIC, sir, you raised the issue on the tight budget. May we know what uh, which part or which component of the terms of reference would would the budget be would there be any problem with the budget?
Well, so we had just a rough discussion about it, and it seems like because you explicitly require local hosting or local cloud provider, so that brought up quite a large share or will eat up a large share of the budget. And of course, then there is, in addition, some software licenses, all the hardware, and the efforts to implement a turnkey solution. And the first rough estimation is that this will not be sufficient, and including 3 years of maintenance, that is all fed up, or is not sufficient with the given budget.
Thank you, sir. I think we will discuss that with the end user from MISD also, and we will issue a bid bulletin should there be any changes, sir.
Okay. Maybe just a short, quick add-on, if I understood it right. So at the time of answering the TOR, you must comply to all lines of Section 7, which means if there is one statement where you cannot say, I comply, and give evidence to comply, you will be already now disqualified, right? So there is no chance to, let's say, add functionality to comply at a later stage.
Can I answer that po? This is a off the shelf. So if you say comply, so it could be done during the customization. If there's one part of the technical
Okay.
specification or the requirement not included in the off the shelf application, but you say that you can comply for the forms, and during the implementation we expect that you will comply in accordance to your reply to the section 7 of the technical specification. Does that answer your question?
That sounds very positive.
Okay.
But then, of course, I cannot give an evidence now in answering the TOR. I can only give, let's say, the promise to comply also to then this line of the TOR, or to this requirement, specific requirement of the TOR.
If I may, sir, you could only you could state comply or not comply, and then in the implementation, as what Miss was saying, you could make your compliance there. I I don't know if you have to give proof during the opening of bids. I think that is not included in the requirements. Um, would that be right, Attorney Frank?
Because my interpretation right now is that I shall give proof to each requirement of the TOR Section 7.
I think we can use or we can accept that the qualifications of your programmers and the subject matter expert, which is also a requirement, it could be an evidence that you can actually uh, customize the existing COTs to our requirement. It
Okay,
could
then
be
at
a,
the appropriate, okay, at the appropriate line in the TOR, then I will make a comment that this will be added during the implementation, and all the
yes.
rest I can issue proof.
Yes, I think if you say that you can comply and customize this during the implementation, my evidence would, the evidence I will look at is the competency of your personnel. So if I can see that your personnel is the right person that then can do that, then it's an evidence
Mhm.
itself.
Okay, good.
Any other questions, please? Yes, Miss Liza.
Yun, natanong na. Actually, dito lang. Hello, ma'am. Our question is actually on the off-the-shelf system. So can our system be a customized system only?
Sorry, ano po yung tanong?
You mentioned that the system should have an off-the-shelf.
Yes po. So may existing application na kayo kasi if you will notice, also one of the requirement is that it has already um, been used at least for the two aviation regulators
Okay,
with satisfactory performance.
got it, ma'am. Thank you.
Any other questions, please, from our respective bidders? AG Datacom, BRIT, Cosmotech, MP. If there are none, we would just like to remind our bidders that you can still submit your written questions or clarifications to our back secretariat 10 calendar days before the opening of bids. So just take note of the deadline, that is 10 calendar days before the opening of bids, in order for the end users as well as the technical working group to prepare the necessary bid bulletin if there is any that we need to change in the bid documents for this project. I think Miss Liza Recuerdo raised would like to be recognized. Miss Recuerdo, Cosmotech, please.
Good morning. For Cosmotech, sir, we will just submit a written queries through your back secretariat po.
Yes
Thank
po, ma'am.
you.
Thank you po, ma'am. What about PRIT? No other questions?
Wala pong tanong, sir. Thank you.
Maraming salamat po. AG Datacom,
No question so far, sir. Thank you.
thank you. And lastly, from MPIC.
I will submit additional questions and also then comments to BAC in the
Okay,
written
thank
form.
you so much. With that, Mr. Chair, I think we can now close this item, sir. And again, submission of the written questions clarification is 10 calendar days before the opening of bids.
All right, thank you, Attorney Frank. Considering there's no more questions, let's already close this pre-bid conference. Thank you, everyone, for attending. Let's already dismiss them from the room.
Secretariat, please kindly remove our bidders from our meeting room?